Hey guys, this is Lee here, and here I am at the dinghy shop in Amityville, Long Island. Right now, it's the beginning of the fall series, and most people who sail in the summer don't even think about sailing after Labor Day. However, some of the best sailing could be happening in the months of September and October. The waters can be warm, the boat traffic is less, and football is in season.
Hey, I'm Joe Namath. Now don't forget to watch Lee's channel. Smash the like button.
All right, thanks. So in this video, I'm going to go over the top 5 things that you need to go sail in the fall season. But before I get started, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. And now, here's to the video. So before I go over the top 5 things that you need to go fall sailing, is that I just want to let you know that I'm not sponsored by anyone. These are just my opinions and my opinions alone. Go ahead and do your due diligence on what brands to get. I don't endorse any brands, so that's about it. So the first thing that's an absolute must, and it's a no-brainer, that everyone should have a personal flotation device or a PFD. I personally use this Zic PFD. It's Coast Guard approved, and it's a little thicker than the non-Coast Guard approved ones that we used a couple years ago. There's also a whole bunch of different brands, and I actually made a video a couple of weeks ago that you could check out where I had a bunch of sailors at Saratoga Sailing Club give their opinions, and a lot of the opinions actually surprised me. What I do want to stress is always get a PFD that fits. So if you're a big person, don't get something that's too small and have the zippers open. And if you're too small, don't get something that's large or extra large, because if you're floating around, it could slide up over your head and it won't help you float when you do capsize. And in a Sunfish, you will capsize. It just happens. What I like to do is be careful about the back. If the back is too bulky, they might get stuck on the boom or your main sheet. Also, I personally like to avoid buckles on the tops over here because I feel that they're more likely to get caught on the main sheet again. However, in the video, I had a couple of people with buckles and they loved that type of PFD because it fit. The fit is the most important thing. And after fit, it would be storage. So a lot of people like to have something to put in there. You can put an extra set of gloves, some extra line, some chapstick or sunblock. So those are the things that you should look for. And of course, cost. Now, sometimes in the summer, I see people who don't wear their life jacket or their PFD. I am not a proponent for that. I think you should always wear it 100% of the time, even if it's 100 degrees out. It is a little bit uncomfortable, but if you get hit in the head, you fall off the boat, you're tired, your PFD can save your life. In the fall, when there's less people around and the waters can get cold or the air gets cold, it's even that much more important. So always wear your PFD. Now, the second thing that I recommend that everyone has for fall sailing is a spray top or a jacket or some spray clothes. What that means, it's like a light jacket that could handle getting wet. Usually they're waterproof. There's many different brands out there. There's Gill, there's Zic, there's Ronstan. So go ahead and see what fits in your budget, and what looks good for you. Right here, actually, I have this. I got actually from Costco a few years ago, and it's a little bit heavy, so I generally don't use this, but this is more foul weather gear, especially on a big boat. So for me, if I go racing, this actually is too heavy for me to wear. It's a little bit bulky and a little bit long, but I wouldn't hesitate to use it if it was cold and I lost my spray top. Yeah, I lost my spray top, and that's how come I'm showing you this. So if anyone's seen it, that's my spray top. So wait till the end of the video, and I'll give you a bonus tip. Okay, another thing is this. Sometimes you could wear this without pants, and this they have pants here too. Now with the pants, these have suspenders, so it holds it up, and you can be like a Gorton fisherman. What's nice about these, they have these back cloth here, so you have this nylon area. Now this is for any spray pants or anything that's on your legs, because this is kind of like a not a nylon. This is like a cotton or some sort of denim, which grips your butt when you're sitting on your boat. If you're sitting on nylon, you can slip off your boat very easy. But if you find some spray pants that are just basically nylon or plastic with the liner, you can wear cotton shorts over them if they're a little bit big, and you could snug them out. And that I find gives grip. And I've used them. I look a little bit silly, but I'm not out there to win fashion awards. I'm out there to have a good time and sail and not fall off my boat. Another thing with these spray tops and spray gear is a lot of them are breathable, which means that your sweat can evaporate, and and they're also, a lot of them are water resistant or waterproof. So when you do get sprayed, when you splash by a wave or you just get naturally wet, your skin will pretty much stay pretty good and dry. The technology is really good. I'm not going to talk about dry suits, but that's even that much more of protection where you actually will stay dry. Now, some people will ask, well, can I wear a neoprene suit? I think you could wear a neoprene suit, especially if the temperatures get a little bit on the colder side, and especially if you have a tendency to capsize. I also have these hiking pants. These are a big investment for your average sailor. If you're willing to invest some money into these are 3/4 length, and then they have these suspenders. So it helps to keep it up, and they go all the way down to my calves. What these are for basically racing. They have battens in them, so when I'm hiking off the side of the boat, it gives you better leverage. I could wear these all the way up until the temperatures get into the 40s, and then I start thinking about wearing my dry suit. But if you really want to go crazy, or if you want to race, especially in heavy air, I wear these in summer, spring, fall, winter, and if the wind's going to get medium teens, I definitely would recommend these because it makes life a lot easier when you're hiking. For the average sailor who just wants to tinker around their lake, this might be a little bit overkill for your money. Third thing that I recommend, but you don't have to do it, a lot of people will sail barefoot. I personally cannot sail barefoot because I kick things in the cockpit. When I tack, I'll just break my feet and I'll break my toes. So I recommend dinghy boots. These dinghy boots are made of neoprene. They have a rubber sole here, and they zip up. They do two things, especially in the fall. When you're launching your boat off a beach, a lot of times when you're landing onto the beach, a lot of times your feet will get wet. But with these might keep your feet dry until you get into the boat. If you could just push off, that will keep your feet dry, maybe. Now, if they keep your feet dry, then you could sail a lot longer. Cold feet are not very comfortable. So I like to recommend these neoprene dinghy boots. Like before, all the sailing companies make them. I really like dinghy boots. Now, the fourth thing I recommend for anyone who sails in the fall, and most of the time I don't use these in the summer unless it gets really heavy air. I like to wear gloves. Most people wear gloves in the summer because they don't want to rip up their hands, but I just get calluses and I'm okay with that. However, when it gets a little colder in the fall, you can buy some sailing gloves. Most of them are made of leather, composite material. I like to go to the Home Depot or Ace Hardware store or Lowe's, and I like to get these gardening gloves with the rubber dipped on them. The reason for that is because I think the grip is excellent on a Sunfish main sheet, and they're inexpensive. You could also cut off the fingertips, like these two fingers and the thumbs, and then you could really grab the little lines there. So I really like this. These work really great, and if I lose them, I don't really care because it's only a couple of bucks versus 20 or 30 or $40 pair of leather sailing gloves. So you can get like 5 pairs of these for a cost of one leather glove. What I don't like about these, after a while, if they're sitting around in some warmth or in the sun, these will get kind of sticky and the fingers will stick to them like that. And another thing you have to watch out for, if they start to do like that, the rubber could actually melt onto anything that touches. So it was on my sneaker and now I have blue stuff on my sneaker. So just be aware of that. If it gets this much, you probably just wanted to throw this out. Another thing is, if you're going to sail on a big boat with like really big lines with heavy loads, if you're trimming, especially if you're trimming spinnaker, if you're trimming jibs where you're hoisting and you're jumping up the sail, these can get ripped up really quick. So you might have to go to leather gloves if you sail on a big boat. One sail, if you're racing a big boat, these might get chewed up on a couple of tacks. So I would think twice about using these on a big boat if you're doing anything with large loads. Okay, and now the fifth tip that I like to use when I go sailing in the fall is a knit hat or some sort of hat that keeps your head warm. Some people like to use just baseball hats, and that's fine, but I like to have that extra insulation. You lose most of your body heat from your head. And when the weather gets cold and then you get splashed with some water, that water is evaporating off your head, it's pulling out more heat from your body. So you can get sick if you're losing all that heat from your head. So I like to have, when I pack up my bag to go sailing, I like to have a hat because I never regret having the hat with me. So now, as promised, here's the bonus tip. Don't forget to bring a full dry set of clothes to change in. Because in the summer, when you're de-rigging your boat and you're spraying it down with fresh water and the temperatures are warm, you don't really mind being wet while you're de-rigging the boat. A lot of times the sun's still out. However, in the fall, the sun sets quicker. It might set at 5 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock, and the temperatures drop quicker. And when you're de-rigging your boat in wet clothes, it gets uncomfortable really quickly. When you get off the water, spray down your boat or change out into dry clothes, you'll be so much more comfortable. And then when you're standing in dry clothes, it's just much more relaxing, and then you'll have a more pleasant time de-rigging a boat, talking to people, and just going home. So what do you think? What did I forget? If there's any comments or if you have any suggestions, write them down in the comment section down below. I read all the comments. I thank you for watching. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you on the water. Yeah. What is that? The horizon. It looks like the red rocket. It is the red rocket.